my channel. This is J.Max Reax, and today I'm watching a personality video that says top 10 signs you're an INTJ, which is apparently 1.9% of the population. This is by Wise Thinker. I'm watching this because for whatever reason it just popped up, but I'm also going to watch a video about INFJ. I don't know if you've ever taken the personality quiz before. I took some back in college because I was involved in so many student organizations, and every so often the letters might switch on you a little bit, but typically 3 of them are consistent and 1 of them will switch. So I always get the I at the end and the J. No, the I at the end and the I at the end and the J, but like every so often that T will become an F, but typically I'm an INTJ, so let's see what the video says.
INTJs are among the rarest personality types, accounting for about 1.9% of the population. They are also among the most misunderstood personalities, with a unique combination of traits that often surprise and confuse other people. They are perfectionists, have a lot of opinions, and can be very cold. They spend so much time in their head that they often forget to pay attention to the real world around them.
Oh yes.
INTJs are rational, introverted thinkers who need alone time to process everything they've observed. They are usually very smart and generally love figuring out how things work. They like to come up with new ideas and strategies, although they rarely bother to explain these ideas to other people unless it's necessary for them to do so. INTJs are both very private and very social people. They enjoy spending time alone, but they also enjoy the company of friends who have similar interests.
Yep.
They are more on the reserved side, but they can open up about things that interest them. They are also very independent people. INTJs may seem aloof because they are so self-sufficient that they don't need other people to help them or tell them what to do. Just like their brain works in a unique way, their body also needs time to think and process information.
Yes.
But if most of these points sound like you, then there's a good chance that you might be an INTJ. 1. Your brain works differently. INTJs have a unique brain that works differently from most people. Unlike most extroverts, who gain energy from social interactions, INTJs function more efficiently on their own. In addition to becoming drained by spending too much time around other people, they also tend to experience something called cognitive overload. This is when they are bombarded by so much stimulation that it becomes hard for them to process the information. INTJs have a very analytical mindset. They observe the world around them from multiple angles and try to find patterns, especially ones that can help them predict what will happen in the future. 2. You can be hard to read at times.
Yep.
INTJs like to keep their emotions and thoughts inside instead of sharing them with others. They aren't the type of people who will share every little detail about their lives and would rather keep to themselves. This can lead to misunderstandings in friendships and romantic relationships because INTJs don't like talking about their emotions and what they want.
Yeah.
They prefer using actions instead of words when it comes to that sort of stuff, so don't expect much emotional communication from an INTJ. 3. You see patterns everywhere you go. INTJs are very perceptive and they like to make connections between different things. They may notice patterns in objects, numbers, letters, and behavior people use. This is why INTJs are often described as visionaries or even seers, because their minds work very differently than most other people's minds. They also tend to predict the future and solve problems in a way that others don't normally think about. This is why INTJs can be seen as arrogant at times, because they like showing off the things their minds can understand that other people's minds simply cannot.
I don't quite fit that bubble.
4. You seem to confuse other people. INTJs use a dry and dark humor that only a few will understand.
Yeah.
They also have a very particular way of speaking, so most INTJs might come off as confusing to other people. When they want to express their feelings about something, INTJs don't use flowery words or go on and on about how much they care because that feels fake to them. They just say it bluntly if the situation calls for it.
Oh my
so
gosh.
if you tell an INTJ how much you love them, don't be surprised if they respond with "thank you" instead of a dramatic monologue that would make Shakespeare roll in his grave.
Oh, this happens to me often, y'all.
5. You are creative, but in a logical way.
Yes, Lord.
INTJs are creative people who need to deal with facts instead of just baseless ideas. They have their own theories about how things work and what they should be like, so they can't just sit idly by while the world doesn't follow their rules.
No.
They usually find a balance between logic and creativity.
Yes, okay.
They use imagination to think about the future, but base their plans on facts and data. This is why INTJs are so ambitious and determined to build their dreams. 6. You have a complex inner world. INTJs might seem to be very straightforward people, but they also have a complex inner world that few truly get to know. They spend a lot of time by themselves and tend to analyze other people's motives and actions as a way of protecting themselves from getting hurt. They also tend to obsess over goals they want to achieve and need a lot of time alone to think about how they can get there. This is why INTJs are always thinking 5 steps ahead and spend a lot of time wondering if their plans will work. 7. You don't like mindless chatter or small talk.
Oh my God, yes.
INTJs hate wasting time on things they find trivial, especially if it's just something they have to do instead of a task they enjoy doing. They prefer talking about meaningful topics, but small talk can feel superficial at times. INTJs are introverts who prefer to listen and observe most of the time. They like having meaningful conversations with people who think like they do, so if your friends are always complaining about the dumb things their co-workers say, then you probably have a lot in common. 8. You are a private person, but you can be social.
Yes.
Although INTJs want to keep to themselves most of the time, they also enjoy spending some quality time with their friends and family. If everyone is going out for a normal party, most INTJs might decline because they love some alone time to recharge. But if you see an INTJ in a lively social environment, they probably like who they are with and the topic of conversation. They just need some time to be alone after doing something wild.
Yes.
9. You can be rather blunt sometimes.
Yes, which is my
INTJs
biggest
are honest
problem.
people, meaning they will never say anything just to please someone else. Sure, you might hurt someone's feelings once in a while if you decide to speak your mind without thinking first, but it's better than telling white lies to avoid conflict.
It's true.
Most INTJs have a strong sense of self, and they care about being truthful more than being nice. They believe that if you speak your mind, you can achieve so much more than just trying to please everyone else all of the time. 10. You need alone time to process your thoughts. INTJs spend an excessive amount of time by themselves due to their introverted nature, another trait associated with this personality type. This is because they need time to process all the information gathered through their observations. They are very rational people, so they need time alone to think about everything that's going on around them and how it might affect them later on. INTJs also enjoy brainstorming new ideas by themselves because they feel like other people's input just makes things more complicated sometimes.
Yep.
The INTJ personality type is characterized by their introverted nature, logical thought process, and tendency to see patterns in everything. They are also very focused on achieving goals as they want them done without any interruptions. These traits make the INTJ a rather interesting person to know, but not always an easy one. Although INTJs can be seen as arrogant, they care about being truthful above anything else.
Yeah.
They can be quite blunt sometimes, and they need a lot of time alone to process their thoughts. This might leave people wondering what they are really thinking, but there is actually no secret behind INTJs' minds. It's just that their approach to things can be very different than the norm.
Okay. So that was incredibly insightful. For me, I haven't taken a look at the qualities and characteristics of the personality types in years. Like I said, I used to have to take this test at least once a year, primarily when I was in college, and then also in grad school because I did a lot with student affairs and student life, student activities, all of that within higher ed. My master's as well as my doctorate that I'm currently working on is very higher ed based, and y'all know my undergrad was IT, so I am creative as hell. but then also incredibly social. So I like my time alone, and I definitely like to be social. And I look at, you know, my day-to-day working jobs and stuff like that as my social interaction. But when I come home, I'm almost dead to the world, which is why I force myself to do, you know, other things like make friends and just go out and try to, you know, try to immerse myself in society. But a lot of days I'd rather just be at home, existing somewhere in my mind, listening to music, planning something out and all of that. It helped me a lot throughout most of my formative years as an adult, because I was a graphic designer by trade. So they gave me an opportunity to do something creative. But where I fell out with it was that a lot of times people would hit me with something very left of center, and they didn't want something that was logical and made sense. So this video was incredibly insightful for me. We definitely are analytical. We see patterns. No matter how many times I foray into higher ed and I do things with students and activities and stuff like that, I still come back to being a database administrator for somebody. And that's literally what I am now. I'm a data analyst. I spent all day today literally just sorting through different fields of data, doing uploads, exports, imports, exports, and just, that's my world. So this is a good one. I'm getting ready to watch one about INFJs because, like I said in previous tests, at least twice, I know for sure I got an F instead of a T. Which is interesting to me because I am one of the most cold and heartless people. The T is for thinker, the F is for feeling. And I'm like, me and feelings. I must have been emotional them 2 days. I don't really know, but we'll see what happens in that video. And this is more so for me to do like a comparison for myself. But if you found this to be interesting, you know, watch the next one with me. See if that's where you fall in that line. Yeah, if you haven't taken the personality quiz, I encourage you to do so. It helps you kind of understand some pieces of who you are. It's not concrete, because even in this video, I heard some things that definitely don't fully align with who I think I am. I'm not arrogant by any choice, and I definitely don't like praise and work, like praise and credit and stuff like that. That's just not who I am. You know, I do all the work, and you can put your name on it. You can say, hey, Max, help. But otherwise, I'm not going to be mad about it. I don't like to think of myself as arrogant. I could be that way to other people. I don't really know. I have to ask that question. I know I confuse people sometimes. So that was accurate. And I definitely am super quiet and analytical, which sometimes is like a loss for me when it comes to friends and relationships, because people will think I'm not interested. So then they just veer away from me, and I'm just like, okay, I'll be good on my own. You know what I mean? It sucks sometimes because I'm human and I do crave social interaction, but I also know how to, you know, find things to do that help me become easily pleased with what I'm having to do for myself. So this is a good video. I'm rambling a little bit. Let's watch the INFJ one. Let me know what you thought about this one below. Comment, like, subscribe. Are you an INTJ? Let me know. Till next time. Peace.